I don't have a problem with what you're saying, and you're certainly the expert, and we're fanboys. So so we'll defer to you on that one, man.
You expert. I love the term, man. You guys, hey, we're just talking ball right now. So
Yeah.
I will say I did get a little glimpse into Mallory because he's 85, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's interesting, man. I think he's going to be a junior this year too, right? So he might have a decision to make.
Yeah, so
Well,
he's
so
the same
I
class
think
as Brevin.
because he's been behind Brevin for most of the time, but so I think he comes back for his senior season. But I'm a huge fan of Will Mallory. I think just like Jordan was saying, his athletic ability and ability to in the open field, it just sets him apart from other tight ends. So
Yeah.
I think he does come back for his senior season. I'd be very surprised if he didn't.
Yeah, I think Mallory, just from like a measurable standpoint, is probably a more appealing player than Brevin when you're looking at the NFL. I just think right now Brevin's just a lot better football player. But NFL coaches make a lot of money for a reason, right? And they mold these physical prospects into really great players, and I think that can happen with Will Mallory.
Yeah, most definitely. I think everything I've seen of Mallory, I haven't gone in depth, but 85 flashes a bunch. I'm excited to see the offense. I really am. I've heard about a couple of young wide receivers you guys have. I know Harley's back and De'Ara King obviously in there and Jared Williams coming in. So, I'm sure Miami fans are pumped up, obviously with Lashley now in as offensive coordinator. I see you guys tweets all the time. It seems like the semblance of offense is coming back to the U. So I'm sure you guys are really pumped up about it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we've been waiting for this kind of season for a very, very long time, and so since we're sticking with Miami, obviously Brevin Jordan and Greg Rousseau are the two big names. But when you look at, I want to ask about three guys, and I know you have talked about two of them previously, but I wanted to ask you again. So De'Ara King, Quincy Roche, and now Jared Williams from Houston. Where do you see them in the 2021 draft and just as a prospect in general?
So I think that the best of those three is Roche. I think that he is very technically sound. And I think when we talked last time, right, he was at Temple, and I live right over the bridge from Philly. So I've seen him live a couple times. I've seen him a bunch on film now. I think that he is technically as sound as you'll find at the position. He understands how to attack leverage. He has very nice hands. He comes off the ball pretty consistently. I don't think he has a ton of tools. I feel like the perfect defensive end ever would be to somehow mix Greg Rousseau and Quincy Roche together. I really feel like, because when I talked to Greg about that, he was like, man, like I'm learning so much from Quincy every single day. And I felt like that was the perfect thing for Greg. And that's why I was pumped up about that duo, because I feel like they're polar opposites, but they could have really given something to each other. But for Quincy, I think that he's going to be a guy that is going to offer pass rush potential pretty early, because he understands, again, rush angles and how to use his hands at the point of attack and do different things. I don't think he's a tremendous athlete. I think he's good enough, though. I see some people talking about him like top 20 pick. I'm not there. I'm there pretty solidly in day two somewhere, like second round. I think he's super solid. I think he's going to be a very good football player for the University of Miami. I just don't know what the huge upside is, because I saw that on Miami's roster. Temple listed him at 6'4". I think Miami has him now at 6'3". He's going to measure 6'2" and some change, which, again, as a situational player is fine. I just don't know if there's a huge upside for him to be in that quote-unquote, number one pass rusher on a team. But I think that he definitely has a ton of upside to bring to a team for versatility. I even think now that he's getting a little bigger and a little stronger, he might be a guy that with that squattier frame has the ability to move inside sometimes and offer pass rush alignment versatility. So definitely like Quincy. I think De'Aric's a next level athlete. I don't think he's a quarterback at the next level. I think he's a great college quarterback. I think that he's going to measure 5'8" and some change, which would be, if he makes success out of that, he would be the outlier of all outliers. So I think that he just lacks that height, and I don't think that he is the greatest passer of all time. I think he throws the ball. I think he has a pretty strong arm for his size, but I think that there's some lapses with decision-making and then also ball placement. I think that he's going to struggle a little bit, and then obviously with being 5'8", right, like we're trying to find passing angles at all times. But I'll say, I imagine he's going to put up incredible numbers. I imagine he's probably going to be in the Senior Bowl. And I think that when it is all said and done, he's a next level athlete, whether that is in the slot or as a gadget player, whatever it ends up being. He is, the fastest player potentially on the field every time he's on there. So very talented athlete in D'Eriq King. Jared Williams, I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't watched a ton of yet. Just in passing from his film 2 years ago, because he got injured last year, watching some Josh Jones at left tackle for Houston. Now, physically, he's what you want. He's 6'7", he's 320 pounds. He looks nice. I mean, he is a well put together offensive tackle prospect. I'm going to have to get back to you on my full evaluation of him. From everything I'm hearing, he moves relatively well for his size, and obviously he has a large amount of experience. So that's very important, obviously, for the offensive tackle position. So wait and see on Jared. I think that it's a really solid group overall, though, and it's pretty insane that the transfers that you guys have gotten in 1 year, because we didn't even talk about, Jalen Phillips. Obviously, I know he was there a little before these guys, but coming over from UCLA to hopefully revitalize his career. So talented transfer group, and it's pretty insane just to think of how much movement Miami's been able to grab this offseason under Manny Diaz now. So
yeah. Well, so I have a question regarding D'Eriq King. I certainly agree with you on the surface level, that he probably won't be a quarterback. However, I want to throw this hypothetical at you. So I'm on oddshark.com right now, which is a gambling website or an odds maker. They have D'Eriq King still as the fourth best odds to be the number one pick in the draft. And
is that right?
Yeah, he's after Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and Penei Sewell. And then D'Eriq King is plus 1,600. That's the fourth best odds. That's
surprising even to me.
Yeah, and so I'm betting that is because they agree with you that he's the next level athlete. We've seen this happen sometimes. Guys like Lamar Jackson, where there's, a lot of doubt that his game will translate. Obviously, D'Eriq King is very short, and that is another layer to that doubt. But just throwing the hypothetical at you. So if D'Eriq King was able to make a mark on the quarterback class, doesn't have to be the first overall pick, but let's say he's pushing his way into that late first round that quarterbacks sometimes do, what would his season have to look like? What would he have to show in terms of his skill set to make that push, if you think it's possible?
I think that he would have to do some – so I'm going to compare him a little bit from a stylistic approach to what he has to show to being almost like a Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson is an incredible athlete like D'Eriq King is. He can do things outside of structure that not a lot of people can do. The things that Russell Wilson has really grown at over the years since he came into the league is – and he started to do it his last year at Wisconsin too, so you kind of saw – the trajectory there was the ability to win in the pocket and manipulate passing lanes. For as tiny as Russell Wilson is, and when I say tiny, I'm just talking about his height because he's a pretty well built guy, 5'10" and 3/8 or whatever he ended up measuring in at. He never gets balls batted at the line of scrimmage. He has an incredible ability to find passing windows, alter arm angles, and his size doesn't affect him like you would think that it would for a guy. Now, D'Eriq King can come in here in Miami because we know that he's an incredible athlete outside structure, and to win some games this year, he's going to be asked to do that. But for just his evaluation process, the ability for him to manipulate a pocket, stay in there, not have any concerns about, hey, can he hit potential passing windows? Can he throw around offensive linemen? Can he do different things? Is he going to be a prohibitance at the line of scrimmage? Ball's getting batted in the air. That's the step that he needs to take, the ability to win in structure. Because, again, we know what type of athlete he is. He doesn't need to run the ball one time this year for me to know that he's one of the best athletes on the field at all times. It's the ability to win inside of structure that needs to be the step for him to assert himself as a next level quarterback.
Okay. Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. So my last question for you, and this is not Miami related, but I wanted to ask your opinion on Sam Howell from North Carolina. I'm a big fan of his. I think he played really, really well as a true freshman, and obviously he will most likely come out after the 2021 season Do you see him as a clear-cut favorite to be a future number 1 draft pick?
I think that he's definitely in the conversation. I think that the 2022 class of the juniors, him, Keaton Slovis from USC, and then Jaden Daniels from Arizona State, those are kind of the presumed guys early. I think that Hal would probably be my number 2 guy on that list right now. I'm a big Slovis fan. If you guys haven't seen any of my stuff on Twitter, like I am absolutely enamored with him, the kid from USC. So I think that would be my early favorite. But Sam Howell, brought that reputation. He absolutely uplifted a very desperate North Carolina team, right? Like bringing in Mac Brown as their head coach and going to a freshman quarterback. Like I don't think a lot was expected out of him this past year in 2019, but obviously he transcended that situation. He ascended the players around him to being one of the most explosive offenses in the ACC. So Sam Howell is incredibly talented. He made some rough decisions at times last year, which is to be expected from a first-year quarterback on a major college level. But I think that definitely he is in that conversation, Marsh. Absolutely. He's a very talented quarterback. He has incredible accuracy. He just has a command to him, like he's been doing this for a very long time. So big fan of Sam Howell. I think he's definitely in that first round, top 10 type of conversation. I think that it's kind of a 3-horse race, though, right now. Way too early, but we'll see what happens.
Cool.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, hey, Ryan, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show again, brother. Hope everything is going well and can't wait for football season.
Well, did we want to do the Mount Marshmore? I know you two talked about it on Twitter.
Yeah, Mount Marshmore, biggest bros in football history, Ryan.
All right. So I'm assuming if we're doing a nod to Mount Rushmore, that I'm looking for 4 guys. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. I was going to put Marsh on my list, but then, since we're talking about football history, I'm going to start old school first. I'm going to go Jim McMahon, quarterback, Chicago Bears, wearing the sunglasses and the sweatband on the sideline. Pretty crazy. Rob Gronkowski, I feel, has to be on that list, right? Like, is there any more bro in the history of the world than Rob Gronkowski in any capacity? So we'll go there. Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football, get him on there.
That's a good one too. Yeah, that's a really good one.
And then my last one is, I think this is going to be an underrated one, maybe my favorite one, Brian Cushing, former linebacker from the Texans, who would headbutt people with no helmets on. So I think that qualifies as a bro.
I'm surprised Jay Cutler isn't on that list.
Is he a bro? Is Jay Cutler a bro?
Yeah, he's ultimate bro.
Have you guys seen the memes of him where people Photoshop cigarettes into his mouth?
Yes, I have.
Dude, those have me dying, man. I can look at those for hours and just laugh to myself. The
only thing I remember about Jay Cutler is interceptions and that he had diabetes. That's like the only thing.
Well, that's pretty much all that happened. There was one NFC Championship berth, but other than that.
Yeah, it was very. I felt like he lasted there for a while, though, man. Wasn't he on the Dolphins one year? Like, he lasted a little while there. So
when he was on the Dolphins, he once got me -4 points in fantasy football.
That's good. What was it? What was his stat line? Like 1 for 3 with an interception or something?
It was horrible. I was an idiot and actually went to that Dolphins game. It was one of the biggest mistakes ever. But that was a great list, Ryan. That was awesome. Thank you so much, brother.
I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you so much.
All right,
thanks, man. Have a good day.
All right, you too, man. Thanks.
Oh, that was fantastic. I love Ryan, dude.
Ryan's a good guest, and he knows this stuff, man.
Oh, absolutely. He's like a brilliant NFL draft evaluator, and also he's fun to talk to. Like he's not one of these guys that's so wrapped up in his work that it's hard to have a conversation with him. He's just really great at his job, and like you said, a great guest.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Mount Marshmore I think that's next on the agenda.
Yeah, it probably is, and honestly, I think you're probably more prepared for this than I am.
You know what? I have a few names written down, but I may have to do some thinking. But we're gonna start. Did you go first last time, or did I go first last time?
Can I get one out there that I just barely thought of that I'm very excited about?
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm gonna go with Kevin Olsen.
Kevin Olson.
Yeah, 5-star